Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's Gentleman here, and I have kind of a crazy story for you guys. This is like, oh man, this is kind of a rough one. So this is a story time about the time that I accidentally tripped out on salvia at work. So if you don't know what salvia is, it's like I think it's a leaf. It's like in the mint family, from what I understand. It's like a mint-like leaf. I don't know. I've never actually seen the leaf itself. I've never really paid attention to it. So basically what happened, I'm going to hop right into it. What happened is I went to work, right? As I do on a normal day, because I need to make money. I don't make money off videos like this, as cool as that would be. But I go to work, and oftentimes in the back room at work, people will bring in like donuts or like chocolate bars or stuff like that. And they're just like on the break table, and if they're there, they're fair game, right? So I go in, and there's just a box of donuts there. I'm like, sick, that's cool. And so I grab a donut before I go out. Like, I clock in, I grab like my walkie-talkie and all that, and I grab a donut and I eat it. Like, I eat it pretty quick because I'm not supposed to like eat on the floor while I'm helping people. So I grab a donut, and as I'm walking out, I see my coworker, one of my managers, and she's like just saying hi, like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm doing all right. And then I go start doing my job, and like, she's in the back room for a bit because I said hi to her when I was walking out. She was walking into the back room, and I'm up at the cash desk just like folding some t-shirts, some normal stuff like that. And a couple minutes go by, and like, it's a lot of couple of minutes, actually, and I'm not sure why she hasn't come out yet, because it's just me and her there this night. Like, it's just me and this one manager, so I was wondering what was taking her for so long. But sometimes, like, the managers are in the backs. They got stuff they got to do, like emails to send, like stock to look over. It happens sometimes. And so what ends up happening is she comes out, and then she's like, hey, you didn't happen to eat one of the donuts on the table, did you? I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. Like, sorry, were you saving them for someone? And she just kind of looks, like, concerned for a second. And I'm like, oh, like, what's wrong? Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's a donut shop in the mall. Like, do you need me to go replace it? Like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, like, eat it if it was for someone. And she's like, no, it's not that. But, like, okay, I don't know how to tell you this, but the donuts were laced. I'm like, laced? Okay. And like, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess they did look sort of like disproportionate or stuff, so maybe they were home baked, which would make sense, but like, I wasn't paying that much attention to it. But I wasn't really freaking out, because like, when she said laced, I thought like maybe she'd like bake some like weed into it or something like that, and I have a pretty high tolerance for that, so I can't imagine it was that high of a dose. So I thought I'd be fine. Like, I didn't think anything would happen, but so I wasn't all that concerned. And I said, like, what are they laced with? She's like, okay, so do you know what salvia is? And I'm like, oh, okay, that could be a problem. And yeah, like I said earlier, salvia is like, it's a leaf, and you like smoke it, and I guess you can put it in food. I don't know if it's as like potent if you put it in food. I don't think it is, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not an expert. And basically, you take it and you like kind of just like trip for a little bit. You tweak out for a little bit, but that's it. And yeah, I had just ingested some at work, which is not a good thing. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's not good. I'm telling her that. And she's like, it's okay. Like, you didn't know. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone. Like, it's fine. And I'm like, yeah, but like, what if I start acting weird? She's like, it's okay. We'll figure it out. And then I'm like, kind of like, I got this worried expression on my face. I'm like, what am I going to do? And then she's like, okay, I have an idea. I'll take one with you so you're not alone. And she runs to the back. And I'm like, wait, no, that's a bad idea. Like, usually when you're like tripping on something, you want like a trip sitter or like the spotter, just so someone can watch you and make sure you don't like die or hurt yourself. But as far as I don't think this girl is very experienced with like drugs and stuff. So yeah, she came back and she's like, "Hey, I ate one too." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." so how are we gonna work this? She's like, it'll be fine. Like we'll be fine. It's not gonna be that bad, right? And she didn't sound very sure of herself, but like I wasn't gonna contribute to the freaking out. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, it will be fine. And we're just it's a pretty dead night anyways. It was like a weekday night, so there wasn't much going on. And we're just kind of like folding these like jeans, like different piles of jeans. There's like no one in the store. And we're just like chilling at the front desk doing that. And we kind of like just get to talking. We start talking about movies, and we start talking about the Saw movies because I had just seen the new one. And what happened is like we were talking about the Saw movies, and I was thinking about like this meme that me and my friends like kept repeating to each other when we saw the movie. And that exact second, I was like laughing to myself, and it was that second that I felt like the whoa, and it hit me. And like I was just thinking of this meme, and I swear because of like, there's like auditory hallucinations sometimes. So I swear I could hear, like, I'm going to do my best Jigsaw voice, but I swear I could hear from this meme, like you'll notice your balls are covered in breadcrumbs and milk. Before you lies the KFC deep fryer. And I was like laughing at this like halfway through my statement, but then I get concerned because I think I actually hear this. So I look down, right, to make sure that my balls are actually okay. And they're fine. And I see this black bag on the floor, and immediately my focus is taken to that. Because to me, there's like this black plastic bag that I see on the ground. It just looks like this like portal, right? And I'm just like kind of stepping on it, trying to go through. And then at this point, my coworker, my manager, like we'll call her Jill, she looks over at me. She's like, "You okay?" And I just like kind of like pause and look at her, and I'm like, "I'm not going anywhere." And she's like, "Okay, okay, cool." And so I'm just like, I keep trying to like step on this like portal thing, right? And then eventually I see a customer come in, and like when you're tripping, you're not like an idiot, so you can still know things are happening. So I'm kind of like, oh, okay, that's probably not good. I need to act like super serious. So I like stand up straight, like the Queen's Guards guys in England. And I just start thinking of that, and I'm just like trying to hold in my laughter. I'm trying to like not die, right? But it's not working very well. And this customer comes up, and he's trying to like return a coat, and it's like a really ridiculously complicated thing, and I'm like trying to hold in my laughter. I'm trying to not die laughing. And so like eventually like the guy is like, "Oh yeah, no, I left my receipt in my car, I'll go get it." And so he leaves, luckily, and then Jill turns to me and she's like, "Hey, you need to calm down." And I'm like, I'm trying, all while I'm like laughing my head off, right? And so eventually she's like, "Here, take this." And she hands me this Wonder Bar. And I like absolutely like demolish this Wonder Bar. And I'm like going, I'm fucking this thing up. As this customer comes back in and gets the coat returned. And Jill's fine the whole time. I'm just like enjoying my chocolate bar. And we're fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're having a great time. And she's fine, and she finishes the transaction, and as the guy is like leaving, she's like, "Have a nice day," and she stumbles. I'm like, oh no. And yeah, she just kind of like looks around and then looks down like just at herself, and then she's like, "Don't move." I'm like, what's going on? She's like, "Don't move, there's a praying mantis on me. I don't want it to wake up." And I'm like, okay. And she's like, "I need to go get changed. I'll be back." And then I'm like, okay, sick. And so she goes, and I'm just left there at the cash desk, not sure of what to do. It's still pretty dead, but I'm freaking out, right? I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm on my own now. I'm alone in this whole situation. And so like nobody really comes in until eventually this one lady comes in and buys something from the clearance. And the price was wrong, so I had to switch it. But it asked me for an override from a manager with a special code to switch the price. and I don't have that. So at this point, I'm still like seeing like weird stuff, and then like a little bit of like distortion and all that, but I'm like starting to come down because it doesn't last for too long, and I guess I didn't have that much, and so I'm like, okay, I have to go get my manager, and I kind of like slur the words too. Then so I go to get her, and I'm not sure where she is because I haven't seen her in a while, and I go to the office. And I'm like, Jill, are you in here? She's like, yeah, I am. And I walk in, and she's not fully clothed. So I like immediately turn around. I'm like, I thought you said you were getting changed. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I didn't do that yet. And so she finishes doing that, and then she goes out, and I tell her the whole thing. Like, she has to put in the code. And she tries like 4 different codes. And it just doesn't work. And, like, I don't know if she just, like, failed at it because, like, the numbers are moving around or whatnot. But eventually she got it, and we finished the transaction. And the lady leaves. And she seems kind of weirded out. She's like, thank you, and then leaves. And then, like, store's completely dead. And we're just kind of, like, sitting there, just, like, in silence. And we just kind of look at each other and just, like, die laughing. Like, for a good solid amount of time. And then we just kind of go back to folding the jeans. And eventually we kind of both come down after a while because nobody came into the store. And the rest of it was a pretty normal night after that. But yeah, that was certainly an experience. We agreed to never speak of it to anyone because we could probably get ourselves in trouble, but I decided I'd speak of it to you guys. So hope you enjoy the story. Yeah, leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. I would really appreciate it. Any support I get, I really appreciate it. I appreciate anyone who watches these videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.